Hi guys, welcome to my channel. This is Stella Beauty Tarot back at you again with another video. I would like to thank each and every one of you for liking, commenting, subscribing, and donating to my channel. I really do appreciate all the love and all the support. And thank you for those of you who booked readings with me. It is truly appreciated, okay? And yes, so today's video is going to be about what comes to mind when people think of you, okay? So pile number one, you're going to be the orange highlighter. Pile number two, you're going to be the yellow highlighter. And pile number three, you're going to be the blue highlighter, okay? So pause this video if you must and meditate on the highlighter that you feel most drawn to. You'll be able to find your timestamp in the description box below, and I'll see you guys at your pile. Hi pile one, welcome to my channel. This is Stella Beauty Tarot back at you again with another video. So my pile number one, you picked the orange highlighter. So this is going to be your reading, okay? So if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. I'm so happy to have you back. And if you are a newbie, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. So the way I like to do this is I like to smudge the cards first before we get started, so we don't pick up the energy of previous pile or previous readings, okay? So pile number one. Starting from left to right, we have the Light Seer Tarot. The one in the middle is the Muse Tarot deck. And the one on the far right is the Psychic Tarot, okay? So what comes to mind when people think of you, pile number one? What comes to mind when people think of you? What comes to mind when people think of you, pile number one? What comes to mind? What comes to mind? What comes to mind when people think of my pile number? That's too many cards. What comes to mind when people think of my pile number one, Spirit? What comes to mind? What comes to mind when people think of my pile number one? Okay. What comes to mind when people think of my pile number one? So we have the Knight of Swords, the Strength card, Leo energy, the Hierophant, this is Taurus energy, the Eight of Wands, and Justice here. So what I'm getting is that when it comes to you, like when, like the thing that comes to people's mind when they think about you is that like you're somebody, they feel like you're somebody who's fair. They admire your, like your fairness, your truth, how you deal with people. Also your wisdom. That's the, like one of the main thing I'm getting, your wisdom and your strength. Like, and also your wit, how you could think quick on your feet with the Knight of Swords being here, okay? With the Eight of Wands, I'm getting like your manifestation powers as well. That's like one thing that comes to mind when people think of you. Like they think about how like fast you manifest things into existence. Also, they think about your strength, how you're able to shoulder great responsibilities with the strength being here, and also like how you have the power to like command a room without using like force, like your power of persuasion with the strength here, and also your wisdom, your knowledge, how you install like the wisdom that you have onto the people around you, like how you like to share your wisdom with people with the Hierophant. And Justice is like the way you deal with people. You're fair, you're just, like you don't try to like one up people, like you respect everybody. You have like a diplomacy nature to you, like you're like a diplomat, okay? You're able to see the two sides of a story and you don't take sides. You're able to be biased in any situation, like objective in any situation, okay? Three of Cups. What comes to mind when people think of you, my pile number one? What comes to mind when people think of you? Yeah, you see your manifestation power with the Magician here, okay? What comes to mind when people think of you, pile number one? What comes to mind? What comes to mind? What comes to mind? The Hangman. What comes to mind? Okay, too many cards. We're gonna just need one. What comes to mind, Spirit, when people think of my pile number one? Okay. Ooh, High Priestess. Okay. Some of you could be Cancer, Leo cusp. Okay. Or just have Cancer or Leo or any of these signs in your chart. Some of you could also be Gemini, Taurus cusp with the Magician here. Okay. But what I'm getting, or Leo, Virgo cusp. Okay. So what I'm getting here is that, like, with the Three of Cups, like when you come to people's mind, like come up in their mind when people like bring up your name or whatever, what I'm getting is like people like to you like you're a good time, fun to be around, fun to be celebrating. Okay, this is what I'm getting. And also, like I said, with the Magician, you're able to manifest great things. You're able to manifest like wonderful things. And this is like one thing that people remember of you. Like that's what comes to mind, like your manifestation power. Also your mind, how you think outside of the box. You're able to create things out of nowhere. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. So what I was saying is that, like, what comes to mind when people think of you is like you think outside of the box with the Hangman. Okay, you're able to see things from a different perspective. You're enlightened as well. With the High Priestess is also your intuitive nature. Okay, like people, like when they think of you, when they mention your name, it's like, oh yeah, like, you know, so and so, how she's like so intuitive, so nurturing, so loving. She's able to tap into some sort of energy that, like, you know, people know that you're in tune with the universe. Okay, with the High Priestess. So this is what comes to mind when people think of you, like your intuitive nature, how you're so nurturing, how you're so loving and like kind. You know, this is what I'm getting, like caring nature. What comes to mind when people think of my pal number one? What comes to mind when people think of my pal number one? What comes to mind when people think of my pal number one? Seven of Pentacles. And there's another card right here. We have the Ace of Cups. You see, loving and caring. That's like nurturing. And we have the Queen of Swords. So your intellect as well, like how you're sharp. You're like, you know, your mind is sharp. You're able to like engage in like great conversation. Like with you, like people always have like a good time with the Three of Cups, and also the conversation that you have with people. People remember you for your conversation as well. Like, you make them think outside of the box, and you also make them like want to do research on certain topics that like you bring up. Like, let's say if you're in a discussion, a group discussion, like the type of topics that you bring up makes people like wonder about certain things. Like you open up their mind, you broaden up their mind, okay, with your intellect and also with your wisdom. Okay, so also with the Five of Cups is I'm getting that like people also like when you come to mind, like when they think of you, it's like they also remember like how you overcame a lot of like obstacles with the Five of Cups, like like heartache. Okay, but you're still sweet, you still have a heart of gold with the Ace of Cups. Like you're still forgiving, you're still loving. So this is like one of the other things that people remember you for. Okay, when they think of you, what comes to mind? What comes to mind when people think of my pal number one? So the Nine of Cups. What comes to mind when people think of my pile number one? The Judgment and the Nine of Swords. Yeah, you see, like I'm really getting like how you overcame some anxiety. Okay, now that you're living a life of fulfillment, like how you overcame some dark aspect of yourself, how you overcame some shadow aspect of yourself, and you did like 360. Okay, you made a sound judgment about certain things in your life. So this is what comes to mind when people think of you, like how you upgraded yourself, how you've changed, how you've manifested like the life that you wanted for yourself out of like I heard thin air. It happened quickly with the Eight of Wands. Okay, your manifestation powers, like people seen you struggle with the Five of Cups. They've seen you from the Five of Cups going to the Nine of Cups. Okay, getting your wish fulfilled. Like they see like how you, like, you know, the Nine of Swords, how you were all up in your head, maybe like You went to I heard public breakup. Maybe some of you, like, your breakup with your ex or whatever was like publicly known, or like people knew about your business. There was like maybe some gossip around it, and you had to overcome that. So this is what comes to mind when people think of you, like how you overcame that part of your life, or overcame that, like some sort of like shadow aspect of your life, or a dark period of your life. Yeah, King of Pentacles. Now you're more stable. This is what I'm getting. Like, you had to overcome so many things. We have Magician energy here. The only one that we don't have is because we have the King of Cups, not the King of Cups, King of Pentacles, Queen of Swords, and we also have, do we have another? Oh, we have the High Priestess. But if we have like all the suits, that's like Magician energy twice, but we already have it here. So like, it's like your stability. Okay, people, when it comes to, when what comes to mind when people think of you is also how you became more stable. You stabilize yourself. Like, you're the King of Pentacles. You're able to provide for your family. You're able to provide for yourself. You're able to even out giving out to charity. I'm getting some of you maybe give out money to charity. So it's like really a 360 from being like left out in the cold, from being heartbroken. People are like remembering you for like just coming out of the cold. What comes to mind when people think of my pile number one, Spirit? What comes to mind when people think of my pile number one? So we have the Seven of Swords in reverse. What comes to mind when people, what comes to mind when people think of my pile? Okay, so we have Seven of Swords in reverse. We have Four Swords upright, and we have the Knight of Pentacles and the Temperance here. So I'm really getting with the Seven of Swords being in reverse. Like, people think, like, when what comes to mind when people think of you is that like you're like a lie detector. You're able to detect when people are being dishonest. Like, people are not able to get one up you. This is where I'm getting like with the High Priestess here. You are in tune, so you could pick up on certain energies. You could pick up on certain things, like different energy when people are like lying, how their energy shift. You're able to pick up on that. So it's really hard for people to deceive you. Okay, so this is what I'm getting here, and people, like, that's what they think. Like, you know, what comes to mind when they think of you is like your sharp mind. You're able to see beyond the illusion. You're able to see when people are trying to be deceptive. Okay, it's hard to fool you. With the Four Swords is, I'm getting like, once somebody tries to fool you, you put it to rest. Like, you put things to rest. Okay, so I'm getting like some people from your past are probably saying that, like, when it comes to mind, when people bring your name up, it's like they're saying that like you put things to rest when people betray you and you get like backstabbed, and you find out, like, you find out that this person was lying to you or cheating or whatever. You cut them off. Okay, so this is what, like, one thing people remember of you, or what comes to mind when they think of you. It's like you cut off, like your cutoff game is strong. Okay, with the Knight of Pentacles, I'm getting like your meticulous nature and your patience here. Okay, that's what one thing that comes to mind when people think of you is your patience. Like, how super patient that you are, how you pay attention to details, and like, even though you move slow, you're steady. Okay, you're grounded with the Knight of Pentacles. That's one thing that comes to mind when people think of you. Okay, somebody who's grounded, who's patient, who is also reliable with the Knight of Pentacles. Okay, they think of you as somebody who is trustworthy as well, that they could count on with the Knight of Pentacles. With the Temperance here, like I said, like patience. Okay, wisdom as well. What comes to mind when people think of my pal number one, Spirit? What comes to mind when people think of my pal number one? What comes to mind? Seven of Wands. What comes to mind? Eight of Cups. What comes to mind when people think of my pal number one? What comes to mind? Okay, we have Two of Swords. Okay, so we have the Seven of Wands, Eight of Cups, Five of Wands, and Two of Swords. Okay, So what I'm getting is like, I'm getting like this energy, like similar to this energy here, is like people from your past, when it what comes to mind when they think of you is that like you have your guards up and you're defensive, okay? Like you have strong boundaries, and like you're not afraid to walk away from anything that don't doesn't serve you. And also with the 5 of Wands here, you're not afraid to like stand your ground, and you're not afraid to like, you're not afraid of competition here with the 5 of Wands, okay? So you're a good like team player or sports player, like you're really a great team player. This is what I'm getting here with the 5 of Wands. And the 2 of Swords is like you're able to like be a stalemate to anything that don't serve you. You're able to turn your back, okay? You're able to just not to disconnect. Okay, this is one thing that comes to mind when people think of you. It's like your ability to disconnect from a situation, to not let it like consume you, and to walk away from something that don't serve you. Like you know how to pick your battles with the 5 of Wands. Like you don't engage in like meaningless like arguments or whatever. Like people, like this is one thing that comes to mind when people think of you, okay? Like you're grounded, like you know when to speak, and you know when to just like walk away and not even like give a second thought, okay? What comes to mind when people think, yeah, shadow. That's this is the Moon card. What comes to mind when people think of my pile number 1, Universe? This is the World card. What comes to mind when people think of my pile number 1? So like I said, the shadow, the Universe, which is the this is the World. I just said it, I just lost my train of thoughts. Fertility, which is the Empress. So yeah, this is what comes to mind. Like I was saying earlier, you overcame some sort of shadow. You went through some sort of like darkness where you had to look at yourself and like see why you were going through some certain situation, and you change yourself, okay? You close out its chapter in your life, and now you are fruitful. You are the Empress here. This is Taurus energy, Libra energy, okay? And we have Libra and Taurus here, so you guys could definitely have that in your chart. But I'm really getting like your fertility, like you know how you were able to manifest certain situation for yourself, how you were able to do a 360. This is one thing that comes to mind like when people think of you, is like your ability to like how you flourished from like heartache, how you flourish from heartbreak, okay? Because the 5 of Cups is here, 9 of Swords is here. Like you may undergo, like you underwent like a 360 transformation from within, okay? Even though the Death card is not here, but I'm getting like you did the shadow work. And this is one thing that comes to mind when people think of you, is how you did the shadow work, how you overcame some obstacles, how you renewed yourself from within. It's not just on the outside. You actually renewed yourself from within, and also your confidence level has like risen. So people like talk about that. They see how confident that you are online, or maybe like people that are spying on you. They've seen that how you're strong, like your inner strength is like you know, unmatched. Like people cannot break you, cannot shake you. You don't let the past like hinder you or hold you back. You're stepping into your power. You're able to manifest like the life of your dream. And this is what comes to mind when people think of you. They're seeing this like coming to life, okay, in front of their eyes, like you manifesting your dreams based on like what you believe that you're capable of accomplishing, okay? So this is what comes to mind when people think of you, my pal number 1. So that's all I have for you, my pal number 1. I hope this reading resonated. If it did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I hope to see you in my next video, pal number 1. Bye! Hi, pal 2. Welcome to my channel. This is Stella Beauty Tarot back at you again with another video. So my pal number 2, you picked the yellow highlighter. So this is going to be your reading, okay? So if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. I'm so happy to have you back. And if you are a newbie, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. So the way I like to do this is I like to smudge the cards first before we get started, so we don't pick up the energy of previous pal or previous readings. So my pal number 2, starting from left to right, we have the Light Seer Tarot. The one in the middle is the Muse Tarot. And the one on the far right is the Psychic Tarot, okay? So what comes to mind when people think of you, my pal number 2? What comes to mind when people think of you? Pile number 2. What comes to mind when people think of you? My pile number 2. What comes to mind when people think of you? What comes to mind when people think of you? My pile number 2. What comes to mind when people think of you? Okay. I heard like you're a flirt. What comes to mind when people think of my pile number 2, Spirit? What comes to mind when people think of my pile number 2? Comes to mind when people think of my pile number 2. Oh, come on, just one more card, please. Thank you. I like when you guys do this. Thank you. Okay. Ooh. So we have the Ace of Pentacles, 6 of Wands, Knight of Wands, King of Pentacles, and Ace of Cups. Okay, so what I'm getting here is that like people what comes to mind when people think of you is like how you're highly celebrated, how like some of you may be in the public eye, may have like a large social media following, and like people like from your past or people that may know you are like talking about like what it comes to mind when people mention your name is that like how successful that you are, how like you're recognized in the public eye, also your financial stability, how you're stable in life, or like you're working towards your financial stability with the Ace of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles, how you're abundant as well. But some of them, like when it comes to mind, they're saying like that you're a flirt with the Knight of Wands. Okay, that you have the playgirl energy to you, that you're a flirt, that you're a tease, that you're sexy, that you're attractive, but you're a little bit flighty, in and out energy. Okay, that you're, when it comes to your finances, okay, and your abundance, you're stable. Okay, like you're stable and everything. But when it comes to your Ace of Cups, yes, you are full of love, you have a lot of love to give, however you don't want to settle down at the moment. Okay, so it's like people say that you're a great catch, however it's hard to catch you. This is what I'm getting. That's what comes to mind when people think of you, that you're an amazing catch, like you have a lot to offer with the Ace of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles. You have a loving disposition to you with the Ace of Cups. Your heart is pure. Like I'm not getting no bad vibe. It's just that you're hard to pin down, like you're hard to, not hard to please, but it's like it's not easy to be with you. Okay, like, yeah, Nine of Cups. Yeah, your wish fulfillment. Like people want you. People want to be with you. Like a lot of people think of you. Yeah, Knight of Pentacles. Like you're slow to move. You're slow to make offer. Like you're more grounded when it comes to your money. You're more grounded when it comes to your creative endeavors. Okay, what comes to mind when people think of you is like how creative that you are, how patient and diligent that you are working towards your goal. Where your goals here with a Nine of Cups, like you're getting your wish fulfilled, and also you are wish fulfillment. Okay, people think of you like they think highly of you, and they think like they're fond of you. Okay, you have a lot of admirers here. What do people think? What comes to mind when people think of you? My pile number 2. What comes to mind when people think of you? So we have the King of Swords. Okay, so what comes to mind when people think of my pile number 2, Spirit? We have the Hermit and the Queen of Wands. Yeah, that's what I was getting. Like you're attractive here, you're sexy, you're good looking. What comes to mind as well is like your intellect with the King of Swords, how intelligent that you are. With the Hermit here, that's what I was saying, like you are outgoing, you have like a great disposition to you, you're funny, you're witty, okay? I'm getting here very intelligent. But with the Hermit here, you are secluded. Like people say like it's hard to reach you. That's what comes to mind when people think of you, like how you're always in hermit mode, like, you know, you appear one time and then you disappear another time, and it's like, you know, it's hard to really pin down what you're up to. That's why I'm getting like it's hard to catch you with the Knight of Wands here, okay? You're not that you're flighty, but it's just like, you know, it's like like you're living your life on your own terms. This is what I'm getting here with the Queen of Wands. What comes to mind when people think of you is like your creativity, your passion for life, okay? How beautiful you are. Like people like, you know, think of your beauty when you come to mind. People like, oh yeah, this beautiful girl or this handsome guy, like this is how like they view you, this is how they think of you, like very beautiful, very attractive, abundant, have a beautiful life, have like is stable, who's intelligent, the full package. Like I said, Nine of Pentacles, Nine of Cups, your wish fulfillment. What comes to mind when people think of my pile number 2? What comes to mind when people think of my pile number 2? We have the Eight of Swords. What comes to mind when people think of my pile number 2? We have the the Knight of Cups. What comes to mind? Yeah, Eight of Cups. Yeah, that like you're in and out, okay? Like you give your love, you only talk about love, but you're non-committal. I'm really getting non-committal. And not Eight of Swords is like, I'm getting like what comes to mind when people think of you with the Eight of Swords is like how you're a heartbreaker, how you leave people in the Eight of Swords like all in their mind, wondering like what they did wrong, like what was wrong with them, why you didn't want to be with them. But really it's just like you don't want to commit right now. You're more focused on your goals, you're more focused on your coins and being more stable in your life than you are in relationships, because we don't have any. We have the King of Pentacles and the King of Swords. This is like, yes, they could be loving, but this is not like the most loving kings, okay? King of Pentacles is more focused about like being stable for his family, providing for his family in a material sense, while the King of Swords is more about like being structured and disciplined as well, but also intellectually be grounded in their mind, be sharp with the mind, and like using logic over heart, okay, when they're making a decision. So this is what I'm getting, like the energy that you're in, and this is what comes to mind when people think of you, like how you're not really committal here with the Knight of Cups. Like you only talk of love, but you like when things don't go your way, or like whenever you're not really interested, you just walk away. Like some of them, like, you know, when it comes to mind, like people that try to date you, they think about like how you put them in the Eight of Swords energy, where they were all in their head about you, you had them in turmoil, okay, like how you walked away from them, like you know, like you only talk about love, but you're not really about love. And this guy looks like a player, I'm not gonna lie, but he's cute though. He is cute. But yeah, this is what I'm getting, like you're attractive and like people want to lock you down, but you're not ready for that, okay? You want your freedom. Okay, what comes to mind when people think of my pile number 2, Spirit? What comes to mind? We have the Six of Pentacles, we have the King of Cups, and we have the King of Pentacles. What comes to mind when people think of my pile number? Yeah, Tower in reverse. So we have the Six of Pentacles, the Six of Pentacles, King of Cups, and King of Pentacles, and Tower in reverse. So what comes to mind is that like people think that you're very generous, okay? Even though like when it comes to your money, this is what I'm getting, like with your money, you're generous, okay? You give a lot of your money, like you like to help people get on their feet, because you know what it was like to be on your feet, like you are like down on your luck. So you want to be like somebody who provides, with the King of Pentacles being here twice, okay? And I'm really getting like people are like saying what comes to mind when they think of you is like really you're about your money, you're about like everything when it comes to your financial stability. This is really important to you. With the King of Cups, I'm getting that like people like they still think that you're loving. What comes to mind is that you have a lot of love to give, but you're just selective with the love you give. Okay, you don't give it out to anybody. Okay, it's like when you give your full heart, but it's just like I feel like because you experienced tower moments in your life in the past, you don't want to experience that again. So this is what like people like what comes to mind when people think of you is like the reason why you're a little bit rigid or like a little bit cold or distant with the King of Swords is because you don't want to go through tower moments again. You're more you have like boundaries up and you're more selective with who you let in. What comes to mind when people think of my pile number 2? See, the Four of Wands. What comes to mind when people think of my pile number 2? Magician. What comes to mind? What comes to mind when people think of my pile number 2? What comes to mind when people think of my pile number 2? Okay, I'm going to take these two that fell. So Page of Wands and the Awakening card. This is the Judgment, okay? So with the Four of Wands, I'm getting that what comes to mind when people think of you is that like with the Four of Wands, it's like celebration, foundation, okay? So you have amazing creative energy. You're able to manifest things quickly for yourself. And with the Magician here, like you have a lot of like abundance. You have all the skills and talents that you need. You don't really need anybody. This is why I'm getting like the hermit mode, okay? This is why you like to be in a hermit, in seclusion, because you like, I feel like when you're around people, they affect your manifestation ability. So this is the reason why you like to be alone. This is why you like withdraw from people, and they don't understand that. They think that you're just being cold, but really it's just for your own protection, to protect your energy, to renew your energy, okay? To like boost up your energy after like encountering different people in your energy field. So with the Page of Wands, what I'm getting is that what comes to mind when people think of you with the Page of Wands is like you're super creative, like you're exciting to be around, like you're great news. So when people bring up your name, you spark up like excitement within people, okay? When they think of you, it's like, you know, they speak with excitement. I hope that makes sense, okay? When they talk about you, like in their voice, like people that talk about you, you can hear like the excitement, how they're happy to talk about you or happy to think of you, okay? When you come to mind, like you bring a good feeling to people, okay? It's not like when they think of you, it's like, oh, it's not like that. It's really like, oh, like so and so, like, yeah, this person, like, you know, it's like really exciting, okay? You bring joy. So with the Awakening here, with the Judgment card, somebody doesn't want me to talk. With the Judgment card, you see? Sorry, guys. Alrighty, let me clear my throat. Okay, so with the Judgment card, what I'm getting here is like what comes to mind when people think of you with the Judgment is that you're a really good judge of character. And I like that's the King of Swords here. You're able to see through people's BS, and it's like really hard to fool you. This is what I'm getting with the Judgment here. Okay, you're able to call out judgment on people that are not vibing with you. You're able to call out judgment on them. Okay, so this is what I'm getting with the Awakening card. What comes to mind when people think of my pile number 2, Spirit? What comes to mind when people think of my pile number 2? So positive movement forward, that's the 8 of Wands. Yeah, we have 888. You see 2 of Cups, spiritual union. Because we have 8 of Swords, 8 of Cups, and 8 of Wands here. What comes to mind when people think of my pile number 2? So we have positive movement forward, that's the 8 of Wands, spiritual union, the 2 of Cups, and hope card, which is the Star. So people, what comes to mind when people think of you, they think of you as like a star, okay? And I did say wish fulfillment. So the 2 of Cups, you have a lot of people that wish to be with you. They hope to be with you. You bring them like a sense of renewal, and you give them hope like that there's great people out there in the world, okay? That there is like somebody special for them out there. Even though like it may not be you, but you still give them hope, okay? You bring a sense of healing. It's like when people think of you, it's like they get a comforting sense, like they get a comfort, like, you know, just talking about you, just hearing your name brings them peace. This is what I'm getting, okay? You make people feel at ease. When they think of you, when people think of you, it's like with the spiritual union, it's like a great relationship. They speak highly of you. We also have the Six of Wands. Yeah, they do speak highly of you, and they think highly of you. Some people, they see you as their twin flame. They believe, like, some people, when people think of you, they believe that you are like somebody that were meant to be in their life for a long time, okay? Somebody that they want to keep in their life, that they don't want to separate from. This is why they're patient with you. This is why, like, you know, they understand that, like, you know, maybe you may need some space, or they don't try to pressure you to do anything, because they know that, like, the value that you bring in their life, okay? So that's all I have for you, my pal number 2. I hope this reading resonated. If it did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I hope to see you in my next video, pal number 2. Bye. Hi, pal 3. Welcome to my channel. This is Stella Beauty Tarot back at you again with another video. So my pal number 3, you picked the blue highlighter. So this is going to be your reading, okay? So if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. I'm so happy to have you back. And if you are a newbie, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. So the way I like to do this is I like to smudge the cards first before we get started, so we don't pick up the energy of previous pal or previous readings, okay? So my pal number 3, starting from left to right, we have the so this is the Muse Tarot deck. The one in the middle is the Light Seer Tarot deck, and the one on the far right is the Psychic Tarot. So my pal number 3, what comes to mind when people think of you? What comes to mind when people think of you, my pal number 3? What comes to mind when people think of you? So let's get started. Pile number 3. What comes to mind when people think of you, my pal number 3? What comes to mind when people think of you? What comes to mind when people think of you, pile number 3? What comes to mind when people think of you, my pile number 3? What comes to mind when people think of you? Okay. So we have the 3 of Pentacles, 3 of Wands, the Devil, Capricorn energy, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Chariot here. So what comes to mind when people think of you is that you don't really have a social life, is that, like, you're more focused on your goals with the 3 of Wands here, and the 3 of Pentacles is like focus on your skills. And with the Devil here, some people think that you're a workaholic. This is what comes to mind when people think of you. Like, it's like they say that you have no social life and that you're just all about your money, and that you're very disciplined with the Chariot here, and also you have strong willpower, okay? But it's really like you're about your money with the Devil here. Like, you're all about your coins. Some people, like, they think of you like as somebody who is like able to create build a foundation from scratch. Yeah, 6 of Wands. You're able to create a foundation from scratch. However, you don't have like a social life. With the 4 of Pentacles, I'm getting also that people, what comes to mind when people think of you is that, like, I heard stingy, like you're stingy with your time, you're stingy with your money. Like, that's probably people that wanted to take from you, okay? This is what I'm getting. 2 of Wands and 7 of Cups. What I'm getting with the Two of Wands and the Seven of Cups is that you have like a lot of people that want to be in your circle, that want to be in your energy, but you're just closed off because you're just too focused on your money. You don't really care. You don't really see these people. With the Wheel of Fortune here is that what comes to mind when people think of you is that you make your own luck. You created your own luck based on like the action that you took, okay? Because it's your willpower that created the luck that you have in your life. The Six of Wands is like, I feel like some of you maybe on the verge of getting like a promotion, or like maybe you're on the verge of like, branching out and starting your own brand or your own business, and it's going to be successful with the Six of Wands. Yeah, you're not emotionally available with the Knight of Cups in reverse. This is what people are saying. You're not emotionally available. Like you don't even like have time to talk to them. Yeah, you're no longer in your head, okay? Nine of Swords in reverse. You're not in your head anymore. You know what you want out of life. This is what I'm getting with the Three of Wands, okay? So maybe at a period of your life, you went through some sort of addiction. Yeah, Ace of Swords being here. You probably went through some sort of addiction or some sort of like toxic cycle that had you bond to something that was not serving you, but now you came out of this, okay, with the Nine of Swords, and now like you're more invested in your coins. Like emotionally you're more closed off because you're I feel like you're still healing from what you went through, so you don't want nobody to come and tamper with the growth that you already experienced. You want to stay at the level that you are and just keep getting better, so you're just like closed off. So this is what people think of you, like what comes to mind when people think of you. It's like how you've grown and how you're more closed off. Now you're more secluded, you're more focused on your goals. Yeah, a chapter in your life has ended, has closed, and the wheel is turning in your favor. Like this is like people, when people bring up your name, okay? What comes to mind when people think of you? What comes to mind when people think of you? Yeah, you see Nine of Wands, how you were wounded, how you came out of a struggle. What comes to mind when people think of my pile number 3? High Priestess, you've healed, okay? I'm getting like also some people feel like you're hiding something, okay? That you're not being honest about certain things, that, you're not as healed as you claim to be. Yeah, Eight of Swords. Yeah, maybe that you're still all up in your head, that you're still going through hardship, but you just don't talk about it, that you're more secluded. This is the reason why you're focusing on work, because like you don't want to think about what happened or what you went through. So this is what comes to mind when people think of you. Like some people are saying that about you, or like, they think about like, oh, I think that she's still going through it, or I think he's still going through it. It's just like he's masking it. This is like the type of talks I'm getting when people think of you. Like when other people bring up your name. Magician being here is, some people are saying that you could be like manipulative to get what you want. That's what comes to their mind when they think of you, like that you're manipulative with the Magician here to get people to cooperate with you. But that's not for everybody. I'm getting like that's for like maybe one or two people, that like some people are saying that. But with the Magician also, I'm getting like your power to manifest, your power, your skill set as well, because the Magician could be a skilled person, somebody who has a lot of skill set and talents. So this is one thing that comes to mind when people think of you. Like also what I'm getting because of the Devil being here is like you're passionate, you're obsessed with improving your skills, okay? You're more obsessed with like building yourself up like financially than like being in a relationship with people, with the Knight of Cups being in reverse. What comes to mind when people think of my pile number 3, Spirit? What comes to mind when people think of my pile number 3? The Tower. What comes to mind when people think of my pile number 3, Spirit? What comes to mind when people think of my pile number 3? We have the Ace of Cups, and we have the Knight of Pentacles. What comes to mind? Okay, and we have the Hangman. Yeah, you're enlightened after a experience that you had, like after a tower moment. Okay, so people are like, what comes to mind when people think of you is like how enlightened you are now, how you're more grounded. Okay, after like turmoils experience like that you had with the tower here, you've healed yourself with the Ace of Cups, and now you're more grounded, you're more patient when it comes to accomplishing your goals. Okay, people are also, what comes to mind when people think of you is how mature you are, how much maturity you've gained from your experience, how you did not let it turn you bitter but made you better. Okay, with the Hangman, I'm getting like you were in line, and you also are looking at things from a different perspective. You're no longer rigid. You're allowing life to flow as it should be. Okay, you're not like holding on too tightly. You're just keeping yourself grounded where you don't lose your stability. Okay, like this is what people think of you when you come to mind. Okay, what comes to mind when people think of my pile number 3, Spirit? What comes to mind when people think of my pile number 3? 10 of Pentacles. What comes to mind when people think of my pile number 3? What comes to mind when people think of my pile number 3? Okay, I'm just going to take them. 10 of Swords. 10 of Pentacles, 9 of Swords. What comes to mind when people think of my pile number 3? Yeah, some people are like gossiping about you. That's what I was saying. Like there's like a gossipy energy around you. Like I said, like some people are saying that you're manipulative and stuff like that. I feel like this is the same people here. So what I'm getting with the 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Swords, 9 of Swords, and Page of Cups is that like with the 10 of Pentacles, like what comes to mind when people think of you is like your family, how you were stable and you lost it. Like you lost some sort of stability in your life. Like you're backstabbed either by family members or people that were in your circle. Like, you know, and how you overcame that. Like also how you were able to forgive these people for causing you pain. This is what I'm getting. Like you were caused a lot of pain in your life, a lot of suffering, where people like backstab you, betrayed you, and this is the reason why like you turn your back on people and then you focus on your coins, you focus on yourself. So this is what comes to mind when people think of you is like they think about like how you were in the 9 of Swords energy, the 10 of Swords energy, where people backstab you, lied, cheated, probably stole your foundation, stole money from you with the 10 of Pentacles and left you out like with nothing. Okay, like with the 8 of Swords, this is what I'm getting. Like some people are saying that you're lying, that you're not over the situation when they think of you. Okay, they talk about what happened in the past, like how you were betrayed by somebody that was close to you, somebody that was like in your inner circle or a family member, and that like, but despite of the fact that you were betrayed, you're still loving with the Page of Cups. Like you were able to forgive, you're able to move on from this experience and not let it harden your heart. Okay, this is what I'm getting. What comes to mind when people think of my pile number 3, Spirit? What comes to mind? So we have Justice, Strength, and the Knight of Wands. So some of them are saying like how you were able to balance yourself out and bounce back quickly from this with the Knight of Wands. Okay, you're able to gain back your footing and also gain back your zest for life with the Knight of Wands, your passion for life. Yeah, the Hierophant, you learn from this. You gain a lot of wisdom from this. Okay, that could have been a marriage. Okay, like a marriage that you were in, like or a long-term partnership that you were in, that you got your heart broken. But when it comes to mind, what comes to mind when people think of you is also your strength, your inner strength, and like your balance in life, your outlook of life with the balance, with the Justice here. Okay, that's karma energy, Libra energy. So we have Libra, Leo, and Taurus here. Okay, so with the Knight of Wands, like I said, I'm getting like your creativity, people, like when they think of you, they remember like how you were in the Ten of Swords energy, and now like you gain back your creative energy, your zest for life, your passion for life. Like you see how she's passionate and playing, like, you know, the instrument, and you see the horse up there in the background, and like the fire here, like your fire is blazing again after the experience that you had. You're still blazing, you're still like, you still kept your heart pure. Okay, I heard a heart of gold. When they think of you, people think of you like, they think of you like, they say that you have a heart of gold, like you don't hold grudges. What comes to mind when people think of my pile number 3? What comes to mind when people think of my pile number 3, Spirit? What comes to mind when people think of my pile number 3? What comes to mind? Okay, so we have discernment, discontent and boredom. Spiritual, material and spiritual prosperity, 6 of Pentacles, and hope. This is the Star card. So this is what I'm getting, like your renewal. People think, like when they think of you, it's like they, when you come to mind, they think of you like of like somebody who healed from within, like you went through a lot of heartache in life. Okay, this is Aquarius energy. This is a Star card. It's like really going back to your inner strength here. Like it correlates with hope, because it's like you were able to pick yourself up, okay, after a period of like not getting what you want, with the discontent and boredom, like, you know, losing out on a lot of things. This is the 4 of Cups, missed opportunities. Now you turn your life around with the 6 of Pentacles. Now you're getting your footing. It's like your stability, you're gaining in that back with the Devil, because you were able to like rebuild from within. And with the what's the Magician card here? What I'm getting with the Magician also is that you have all the skills and talent. So you use your skills and talent to rebuild yourself. You did not like rely on other people. You rely on yourself. You trust yourself and the universe, and you're able to heal. Okay, so this is what comes to mind. Like people really admire your strength, your stamina, like your passion, even though you were heartbroken, your wisdom here, what you've gained from like this experience, how you're applying the knowledge that you gain from the experience and became better. Okay, like I said, you became better and not bitter. And this is what comes to mind when people think of you. It's like how beautiful your energy here, your energy here. Wow, I can't even speak. Your energy is, okay? This is how beautiful your energy is. This is one thing that people, like, what comes to mind when they think of you. Like how, like, you're still radiating from the inside. You're still, like, emanating love. No matter what happened to you, you're still loving. You're still loyal. Like, you're still, like, you have a big heart, a heart of gold. Like I said, you don't let nothing harden your heart. With the Ace of Cups, no, I mean the Page of Cups here. You're forgiving. You don't hold grudge. This is one thing that people think of. Like when they think of you, this is what comes to mind, okay? So that's all I have for you, my pal number 3. I hope this reading resonated. If it did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I hope to see you in my next video, pal number 3. Bye!